Good evening. Happy Monday evening. I'm your host, Jonathan McAin. Um, Welcome to this episode of Sag on Block Marathon Madness, Season 8, Episode 43, Bad Brotherhood. Okay. And then Season 9, Episode 4, Meet the New Members. So, they're both Monday episodes. They're both in the 5th grade. So, let's begin. Bad Brotherhood. So this one gets breakfast. He gets to the high school. He gets breakfast. Um, wait, whoa, I forget. Wait, whoa. He starts at home. He does his pyramid at home. Remember, in 11th grade, he does his pyramid at home in the morning. He chit chats with mom. He says bye to his mom. He gets on the bus. He gets to um, the school. He gets breakfast, and then he gets on the Hartman bus. He gets to Hartman. Today is early childhood education with Miss Higgins, and they start out with a chit chat. They talk about their weekends, and they chit chat about stuff. Um, and then they have a lesson, and then in the middle of the morning, they had their 15 minute, 20-minute break. Um, and then the second half of the class, they do their lesson plans for the week and their weekly calendar for the preschool. So they prepare for their lessons, and then near the end of the class, they go to the preschool room and get materials and things that they need for their lessons and for their centers to prepare to teach the lessons that they plan for. So getting books, getting art supplies, whatever it might be, to for their lessons, and that's it. And then he goes to study hall, which we don't see in a lunch, um, which is Chinese chicken day. So he gets his lunch. He chit chats with the Brotherhood. They talk about their weekend that they had, um, and they do the pyramid. And the members are acting up. They're being bad. Um, they're complaining, and he has to remind them that guess what? We're 11th graders. We're almost adults. We need mature. We need to not cry. We don't need to complain that you have a contract. You signed the contract to be a Brotherhood member, and you need it's Hunter's Way or the Highway. I'm the king of the Brotherhood. I'm the leader of the Brotherhood. This is my Brotherhood. It's been my Brotherhood for a while, and guess what? You're being bad, and he actually has to put some members on temporary kickout. So, which is always kind of fun to do because they're being bad members. So, but they settle down, they just say whatever, and then they chit chat a little bit, and then they have lunch, they eat their lunch, and then they go to science with Mr. Mindock and Mr. Miller. They have like an activity that they do in the lesson, and then they have an assignment activity type thing that they're doing. And then he goes to Algebra 2 with Mr. Stevens. They have a lesson, and then they have like an activity. It's kind of stressful with Algebra 2, but he gets through it, praise the Lord. And then he goes to resource with Miss Oswald. He does his Algebra 2 assignment with her, gets some help. He gets it done. He does decent on it. Um, and then he goes to Wild Village for U.S. history. They have his little rant and his little craziness and his wildness and drama. And then he goes to his lesson, and then we do his assignment for him. And then the bell rings, the day's done. And there we go. Now, season 9, episode 4, Meet the New Members. It's the first full Monday of the semester, the second semester of 11th grade. It's the first pyramid of the second semester. And I want to remind you who's in the Brotherhood at this point for 11th grade. So Hunter's, of course, the king and the leader of the Brotherhood. Jared is Hunter's assistant. We got John. We got Adam. We got Dustin. Um, we got Nick. We got I'm trying to think. Chris with the K. Um, let's see. Um, we did have Aiden and Brendan and Camden, but at the end of season 8, there was some drama and they got kind of like suspended, and one of them got expelled. So, which I haven't talked about that drama yet, but that will be discussed maybe soon. But there was some drama. They did some of them did get suspended. When you get suspended and expelled, you can't be a member. So they get kind of like a temporary kick out. Some of them get fully kicked out. Like Brendan was the one that got expelled, so he's like totally kicked out. Like he's done with Brotherhood, which was unfortunate. Camden and Aiden are suspended for a while, but they'll eventually be back. So it's just a temporary kick out. Um, and when they come back, Hunter will reassess where they're at. And there was another member. I'm just gonna call him. I don't want to say his name. They had drama, but I'm just gonna say Jay. I'm just gonna say Jay, not Jared. But I but he got kicked out. He's like expelled, and so he's kicked out. So there's some members that are no longer here. Um, so for the time being, so Hunter, at the week before this, which was the first week of the new semester, he add some new members. So, or at least one new member, which his name is Walkie. I believe this is when he starts. So, Walkie is actually the former assistant or whatever sheriff, Montana border. So it kind of goes a little bit, kind of a full circle from eighth grade, which is kind of crazy. But as Walkie, I guess, has been Hunter's friend like, starting season 8 a little bit, just a friend, and then in season 9 he becomes a member of the Brotherhood. Um, he's funny, a funny guy, but kind of sometimes, and it will eventually drive Hunter crazy. So Walkie's a new member, so Hunter tells the Brotherhood about Walkie and that he's a new member. Some of them are jealous, just like any new member. Some of them get jealous, but just like when we added, Brendan the first time and Chris and the Chris with K, like some of them got jealous. Like Jared and Cameron got jealous in the first eighth grade edition, but I told them to get over it. If you don't get over it, we'll temporarily kick you out too. We don't want to do that. So at this point, the Brotherhood is me, Jared, Adam, John, Nick. No, yeah, I think at this point it's still Nick. Eventually, he'll be kicked out for something. Um, Dustin. So it's me, Jared, Dustin, John, Adam, and so far out of the OGs, it's just me, John, Dustin, Adam, and Nick are left, and Chris McKay, kind of, are the only ones left that were OG members, which is kind of crazy. And then we have this new member, Walkie, and that's the Barhead at this point. And I'll talk about. I want to do an episode of the history of the Barhead one day, eventually. Um, but because I want to kind of break it down for you all. But um, but this is the Burhead at this point. So Loki is introduced at lunch to the Burhead, and then they eat lunch. Um, they do the pyramid for the week. But Walkie is on the bottom because he's new. When you're new, you you don't get high up until it takes time. But it doesn't mean that Walkie did anything wrong. That's what he's just got started, and that's just how on the past Friday. That's when he got started, kind of. But that's when he accepted the offer to be in the Brotherhood. Um, but he's new, so he's on the bottom. But he shows the Brotherhood the pyramid at lunch, and then they eat their lunch, and then he goes to science with Mr. Mindock and Mr. Miller. They have like a lesson and then like an activity. That's pretty much it. And then Mr. Stevens for Algebra 2, I think it is just a work period. So they just work on some work. They do some study hall. We don't really show the whole period because it gets boring. And then resource, we do half of resource. It's just working on some work, doing some TikTok, doing some games, and then we cut off in the middle of it because once again it's kind of boring. U.S. history with Mr. Royal Village is kind of crazy, like always in the beginning, and then they have a lesson, and then they have like this assignment that they some type of paper I think they're working on. But that's it. So thank you for watching. Have a marvelous Monday night, and I will talk to you here Tuesday night. God bless and protect each and every one of you. Behave, be good people, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.